The field I have chosen to talk about is mental health. This consists of many different things, such as therapists, psychiatrists, nurse practitioners, the list goes on. People in this profession deal with military veterans, movie stars, and everyday people who suffer with mental illness. Many people who have issues like this have a hard time reaching out for help. For deaf people, it's even harder. Many therapists don't know sign language, and an interpreter is needed, and a lot of people would feel very uncomfortable with someone being there to tell someone else what is being communicated. So because of that, interpreters need to have a few things under their belt. The first thing they need is a bachelor's in psychology, or however much higher they want to go, but at least a bachelor's, because that way they know the fundamentals of what is happening in the human brain. The second thing is that interpreters need to have a detailed knowledge of the DSM-4 and what is in it. The DSM is the really big book that has all of the different diagnoses that someone could be given. So if a interpreter doesn't know all those classifications, it would be harder for them to communicate what the therapist or psychiatrist is saying. The third thing that a interpreter in the mental health field would need is a understanding of human psychology, all the way from developmental disabilities to drug addiction. And the reason for this is if they don't know the signs for the specific English word that is being said, it's a little harder to communicate what is going between the patient and the therapist, and when it doesn't communicate, it's harder for the person to get the help they need. The last thing that is required for a interpreter in the mental health field is the ability to recognize the symptoms of mental illness and be able to respond appropriately. This does not necessarily mean that they have to tell them what to do themselves, because that's completely not appropriate, but it would be how to express the information. They need to be able to respond with their facial expressions and their body language appropriately to patients who might not be the most stable at that point in time. In any interpreting field, it is important that you wear a shirt color that is contrasting with your skin tone. So for people with lighter skin, you would wear a darker color, or people with darker skin, you would wear a lighter color. So normally the thing is interpreter black, that's kind of a thing, but that's not exactly specific to this topic. That's just kind of a broad, every interpreting kind of thing. Specific logistical issues is what the assignment says. Specific would be something more like placement, like where you're sitting. For mental health interpreting, what's really important is that you are sitting in between the therapist or psychiatrist or doctor or nurse or whoever it is over here, and the patient is over here, and you are somewhere in the middle to where both parties can see you. The importance that you're over here is so that the licensed professional knows that you are in fact interpreting everything and can see that you're doing your job, and that the patient can not only see what you are doing but also what the licensed professional is doing on this side. He or she over here can see the facial expressions, if he or she is taking notes, if there's anything happening that's really important that the patient needs to see what's happening over here. Different signs that I've learned while researching this topic are as follows. Some advantages to this field that I personally have seen, like that I would consider advantages, are that you have pretty much like a set time. Like if a person has a weekly appointment at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays or whenever it is, you're going to be at the same place at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays. And so that's always really nice. Another advantage is that you are helping somebody else in not only helping them communicate, but you're also helping them actually get the help that they need mentally or whatever it is that's going on. So that's another advantage that I find super helpful. Some disadvantages that I have seen or would expect are that since it is mental health, there's not a lot of support that comes with that, because you're just the interpreter. It's not you're the actual therapist. The actual therapist gets a team that they get to talk to and have support, but a lot of times the interpreter doesn't always get to be part of that support group, and they have to deal with it on their own, so there's not a huge amount of support when it comes to that. So that's a disadvantage that I can expect from that area. Another disadvantage is that because it is mental health and it's something so important, you could be judged for how you sign a certain thing or how you interpret something, and if it's not exact like what the person wanted or exact what the licensed professional wanted, it has a bigger impact, and that's more of a disadvantage, whereas with just classroom interpreting or something like that, doesn't have as big of an impact if it's not spot on and the exact point doesn't come across. With this topic, with mental health, just like any other interpreting area, the patient confident. With this topic, as well as other interpreting areas, the patient confidentiality is super important. So you wouldn't want someone talking about what you have gone through to whoever. So you cannot talk about what you've just interpreted to other interpreters. So that is super important. Like, all doctors have to sign the patient confidentiality, so you would have to agree to that as well. Interpreting in the mental health field is definitely something I'm interested in, but also something I'm kind of wary of. The pros, I guess I'll say, are that it's something that I love and it's something that I have experience with, and any opportunity that I get to be able to help another person deal with any sort of issues that they have is wonderful, and I take every opportunity that I can get. Some cons or disadvantages to this, though, would be I wouldn't want to feel that I am taking on the other person's issues, since it's not particularly me that they're talking to, and it's not me that's talking to the therapist. So that's something I would be kind of wary of, because I wouldn't want to bring all of those issues into myself. Another thing that I would be kind of wary of, that would kind of maybe put me off of this area, is that if I don't agree with the way that the therapist or psychiatrist or whoever is helping this person and is dealing with the situation, I would not be able to tell them something different. It would be completely up to them, because all I am is a person there to help them communicate. So that is also something I would be kind of wary of. I'm done.